So that's a minute issue. I couldn't actually see myself descending so low to join issues with Very Dark Man on that matter, where he said I have a personal vendetta against him, and made reference to one or two cases, and some persons have called me and said they want to take it up and they want to also charge him for cyber bullying. Of course, I told them no. I can't be seen. I'm a learned man, and I can't be seen to be dragging issues with a layman. My level, I'm too big for that kind of scandal to come down to that level. It's obvious that he is aware we are human rights lawyers, and as human rights lawyers, we don't discriminate. The issue with him and Linus Williams is an issue that commenced online. Okay, it's an issue that ordinarily should not even be around the court, talk less of the police. This is like a situation where two children decide to start insulting themselves. Your father, this one say your mother, this one say if they born you across this line, this one say you too if they born you across this line, and then one person now start crying and then start going to the police to cry and say there was a criminality that was perpetuated and all. Of course, B-Lord, I don't know him from anywhere. He had come out to say he trademarked Rattel, which was a lie, because he just said that to hurt Very Dark Man, okay? But Very Dark Man flinched, he just flinched. And same thing with seeing us, that we have gone to visit Very Dark Man, B-Lord. We've gone to visit him and we've given him some moral and legal support. He is not happy that we are giving B-Lord that support. And he has just sparked on that okay, these guys are trying to help his enemy, let me attack each and every one of them. So that is the way he operates. He tries to bring people out, segregate them, get anything about them that probably his relationship with you before, and then he comes out and says something. But I'm happy because what he said was mumu yellow lawyer. Of course, when you talk about mumu, what does mumu mean? Mumu in British language does not mean anything. In our Nigerian settings, is a vulgar abuse. And under the thought of the defamation, vulgar abuse is non-justiciable, so that's nothing. Then you said yellow. Am I not yellow? I'm a yellow lawyer. He said I was representing Dr. Sandra in the case. Of course, I'm a lawyer. I represented Dr. Sandra. Whatever he has that he was talking about, it was just because that is his personal opinion. Of course, he has a lot of followers and a lot of people fear him. He rules people with fear. He leads people with fear. He's this kind of person who intimidate people with his voice, and he tries to shut people down. But I, as a lawyer, I am not in that category of persons that can be in any way intimidated. Of course, he has some trends and some good record of calling out politicians, calling out the Nigerian police, and calling out any form of oppression. That's good. It's a good thing because he also furthers our human rights cause. However, this aspect of him trying to match anybody who speaks against him is wrong. For example, Sowore and I have never agreed on all issues. Sowore is my client. However, there are some things that Sowore will say, I will disagree with him. I say, no. On this one, I don't agree with you. I am not a slave. I'm a human being with my fundamental human rights and my freedom of expression. So yes, Very Dark Man has exercised his fundamental human rights, and I wish him well. If I see him now, if I see him tomorrow, I see him on the road, I will greet him and we will greet each other as men. Yeah. All right.
That is now pending in courts. I think the matter between B-Lord and Very Dark Man is actually a case of fight between two online giants. Ego is actually at play. But so far, I think we are already before the court of competent jurisdiction to test. Yes. We are before the court of competent jurisdiction to test who is right or who is wrong. So I'm sure with time, the lawyers who are ready to prosecute B-Lord should prepare their legal arsenal, because the team of B-Lord also has prepared their legal arsenal to test whatever allegation that has been leveled against B-Lord in court and know who is right at this juncture. Thank you.
J'avais Where's Tinubu's station? I was very quick to carry the news, but they never coming to the press conference. Are you ready? April 13th, 2026, we were billed to appear before Justice Umar for the continuation of that cyber stalking matter initiated by the lawless DSS against me for calling Tinubu a criminal. But we've just been informed that the judge has not completed his vacation, and as a result will send us a new hearing date, which we believe will be a fair date. So that's sorry. That's the update. Yes. You guys have any questions? No questions.
I think
That's basically it. But if you have any questions, we are still around because there are other pressing matters that needs to be addressed, and we'll be going upstairs to work on those ones. They are very urgent as well. Thank you.
Revolution.
Now. We are on the list. How are you, sir? Most likely, special case.
I know community college.
The Niger Delta on fire. A vote of no confidence on Tantita and Maton Engineering over 2.1 trillion pipeline surveillance. We, the concerned stakeholders and representatives of the Niger Delta people, under the aegis of United Niger Delta Congress, issued this press statement to strongly condemn the recent action of the National Assembly in passing a vote of confidence on Tantita Security Services Limited in relation to the pipeline surveillance contracts. Let it be stated clearly and without ambiguity, this action is not only misguided, it is a grave overreach of legislative authority. The National Assembly does not possess the constitutional or statutory mandate to award, renew, or endorse such contracts. Its role is limited to lawmaking and oversight, not executive implementation or the conferment of legitimacy on private commercial arrangements. Whoever has paid them to do so should go back for a refund. Even more troubling is the contradiction of the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, a landmark legislation enacted by the same National Assembly. The PIA, particularly Chapter 3, Section 257 explicitly recognizes host communities as central stakeholders in the protection and management of oil and gas assets within their domains. Any attempt to concentrate pipeline surveillance responsibilities in a monopolistic structure directly violates both the letter and spirit of this law. What is unfolding is not governance, it is economic capture. It is domination, it is the systematic expulsion of the very ethnic nations whose land sustains the nation's wealth. The monopolization of 2.1 trillion pipeline surveillance contracts is not merely unfair, it is a dangerous provocation and a ticking time bomb in a region with a long history of struggle for justice and inclusion. 5. You cannot award the protection of pipelines and oil assets located in one ethnic nationality to an entity from another, while the indigenes become mere spectators. This is a recipe for crisis of monumental proportions and a direct violation of the provisions of the PIA. Recent events have further exposed the inefficiency and questionable value of the current arrangements. Just last week, a vessel loaded with crude oil worth over $300 million, which is equivalent to $400 million, was intercepted and arrested, not by Tantita Security Services Limited, which reportedly receives over 2.1 trillion annually, but by the Joint Task Force, JTF. This raises a fundamental question. What is the essence of retaining Tantita if it cannot prevent oil theft at such a massive scale? Furthermore, since the agitation for the decentralization and restructuring of the pipeline surveillance framework gained traction, Nigeria's daily oil production has suddenly reportedly risen to about 1.84 million barrels per day, up from the 1.3 million, 1.4 million that it has been for years. This development suggests one of two troubling possibilities. Either Tantita has been grossly ineffective in the discharge of its duties, or it has, at best, been negligent and at worst allegedly complicit in the persistence of oil theft. The solution is clear. Oil theft will be more effectively curtailed through the decentralization of pipeline surveillance contracts. When responsibilities are devolved to host communities and ethnic nationalities, accountability improves. Communities will generate intelligence within their own domains and peer review themselves and expose offenders because they have a direct stake in protecting their resources. You cannot preach peace while practicing oppression. You cannot demand stability while engineering inequality. And you certainly cannot expect silence while economically strangling and asphyxiating entire ethnic nationalities. The Niger Delta struggle was never fought to replace external marginalization with internal domination. It has always been about justice, dignity, and equity participation. Any attempt by any individual or entity to corner opportunities that rightfully belong to the collective people of the region is a betrayal of that struggle. We must sound a clear note of warning. No single individual or group has the mandate to appropriate the economic rights of diverse ethnic nationalities within the Niger Delta. Every ethnic nation in the Niger Delta has competent and capable sons and daughters fully qualified to participate in pipeline surveillance and related engagements within their territories. Denying them this right is not only unjust, it is deeply provocative. Accordingly, we state the following. A total vote of no confidence on Tantita Security Services and Maton Engineering, and this is due to recent interception of these vessels carrying crude worth $300 million by the JTF and $4 billion by the Nigerian Navy in the areas controlled by the two companies owned by two cousins. Strict compliance with the Petroleum Industry Act, especially provisions guaranteeing the role of host communities in safeguarding oil and gas assets. Immediate dismantling of monopolistic pipeline surveillance arrangements and the decentralization of such contracts to reflect fairness, competence, and ethnic nationality. An end to all forms of economic exclusion and internal domination within the Niger Delta. Let it be clearly understood, the path to peace in Niger Delta is justice. The foundation of stability is inclusion. Any policy action that ignores these truths is a deliberate invitation to unrest. If those in authority truly seek to avoid setting the Niger Delta on fire, the solution is simple. The solution is simple and immediate. Uphold the rule of law, respect the rights of host communities in their respective ethnic nations, dismantle monopolies and embrace equity. Anything less will be seen for what it is, a conscious decision to deepen injustice and provoke unavoidable tension. The Niger Delta must not be pushed to the brink. However, history has shown that when injustice becomes policy and exclusion becomes systemic, resistance inevitably follows. Let no one claim ignorance. Guide your pipelines, and I will guide my own. Thank you.
Capable president, and in the light of the glaring bias, intentional compromise, and failure of oversight, the member of this motion say aye. Aye. Those say gay are not here. Nice have it. Thank you. Question. Straightforward. Your video, sir.
Well, we found that since justice has nothing close to them, we strongly believe that the president and it is rather funny and unthinkable for the National Assembly that a
we are heading to a disaster. The reason why I use these short figures is to show you we are drifting. We all have to work hard. We all have to do whatever is possible. Anarchy consumes everybody. We must not sacrifice for the sake of our children. If we don't do anything, what is happening now will take a revenge on us and our children. Only the distinguished Senator David Mark, our Secretary Obeni, thank you for that wonderful speech, and our leader, the former Vice President Atiku. Mine is simple because we are told we have only 2 minutes, and I believe that our leaders have spoken very well. That all we need to do now is to come and say we adopt what they've spoken, but at times when you hear that things are bad, you need to imagine it when it is in figures. So it is important. Mine is that to thank all our leaders and all of us that are here. We need to work as a united Nigeria for the sake of Nigeria. The country is so divided. We need unity. The present government have ensured that it will remain more divided. Our unity is important. Your country is collapsing. And if you allow it to go further, it will be worse. If you check your indexes, today, when the present government came into being, Nigerian ranking in terrorism was number 8. Today we are number 4. So if you give it another 4 years, we will be number 1. And that is definite. But when he told you about our poverty, when this government came into being, to go and check World Bank record, our poverty rate was 41.6%, 88 million people. Today we are 63%, 140 million. So they've almost doubled that. When this government came into being, we removed subsidy on petroleum, and the reason why we removed it is so we can stop borrowing to service it and use the resources to develop the country. But today, when they came in, despite the fact that the government before them were able to pay subsidy, they left with a debt of 87 trillion. Today, we are about 200 trillion. So they borrowed 130%. That's why they're moving subsidy. And worse, this government is owing all contractors. No project of 2025 budget have been funded. So we have huge debt and we have borrowed more and everything. We are heading to a disaster. The reason why I use these short figures is to show you we are drifting. We all have to work hard. We all have to do whatever is possible. Anarchy consumes everybody. We must not sacrifice for the sake of our children. If we don't do anything, what is happening now will take a revenge on us and our children. God bless all of you.
Thank you very much. David Mark, who also doubles as our chairman. His Excellency Ogbeni Rauf Adesoji Aribisola, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency Peter Obi, His Excellency Right Honorable Chikerotimi Amechi, His Excellency the spiritual leader of Konkosia, Dr. Rabi Musa Konkoso, His Excellency Malan Nasru El-Rufai, who is now a political detainee with Tinubu government. Okay. We stand on a crossroad where the energy of our youth meets the hard realities of our nation. Nigeria is not just a country on paper. It is the daily struggle of young people trying to survive rising costs and limited opportunities. Yet, in the face of this pressure, you remain strong. You keep pushing. You keep believing. We refuse to be a generation that only watches events unfold. We are the generation that steps forward to shape them. Even as our party faces threats, from court cases to restrictions on our gatherings and harassment of our members, we remain firm. Those challenges are real, but they will not break our resolve.
Well, I want to stand on existing protocol, and you know I was told that I have only 1 minute to speak. It seems like I've already taken more than 59 seconds of the 1 minute given to me. However, I want to speak on an area that nobody has touched. That is to say that yesterday, around 1 o'clock, today, 1 a.m., we got a message that this venue that was acquired for this convention was actually cancelled because the owner was threatened by the powers that be that if he allows us to be here, they will revoke his certificate of occupancy. And the person with whom I was sitting asked me for my opinion. And my opinion was simply that even if Abuja will burn to ashes today, we will hold this convention in this hall. And so we did. This is a test ground. Have we not held this convention today here, they may not even allow us to campaign in Nigeria. So it is important that nobody in this country should set the face on how our political behavior should be. That we must exert ourselves. Even if there is no living human being in Nigeria, and we bring a corpse in a coffin and put him against President Tinubu, I assure you that that corpse will win the elections in 2027. I want to stand on existing protocol, and you know I was told that I have only 1 minute to speak. It seems like I have already taken more than 59 seconds of the 1 minute given to me. However, I want to speak on an area that nobody has touched. That is to say that yesterday, around 1 o'clock, today, 1 a.m., we got a message that this venue that was acquired for this convention was actually cancelled because the owner was threatened by the powers that be that if he allows us to be here, they will revoke his certificate of occupancy. And the person with whom I was sitting asked me for my opinion. And my opinion was simply that even if Abuja will burn to ashes, today we will hold this convention in this hall. And so we did. This is a test ground. Have we not held this convention today here, they may not even allow us to campaign in Nigeria. So it is important that nobody in this country should set the face on how our political behavior should be. That we must exert ourselves, whether they like it or not. And secondly, I want to touch one very important point. We have seen that the APC and its government has tried to destroy the PDP, the SDP, the NNPP, the Labour Party, and indeed the ADC. But what I want to remind them of is that even if there is no living human being in Nigeria, and we bring a corpse in a coffin and put him against President Tinubu, I assure you that that corpse will win the elections in 2027. So any attempt to intimidate or to frustrate us, we must stand and say no. It is only our no, and it is only our resilience, our boldness, and our courage that will deliver us from these mafioso people in government. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, DJ, please. Thank you. ADC.
ADC, AD&C, our most able chairman, members of the National Working Committee, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I don't intend to make a long speech. The reason is every issue, every challenge, every problem confronting us as a country and as a people has been stated on this platform. What I would like to appeal to Nigerians, and particularly members of the ADC, is to make sure that this time around, we really mean to change the situation in the country. I remember when the APC was being formed, the entire political leadership in this country, from various parties, stormed into my house and said, look, if you don't come into APC, this is not possible. They literally compelled me to join APC, only for us to end in this state of affairs. Our economy gone, our sovereignty gone, our security gone, our education gone, our infrastructure zero, healthcare gone. Now, what kind of a people are we? We must rise and make sure that there is change, and a genuine change, a sincere change, to rectify all these challenges I have enumerated. We are, people of my own generation, are in this game, if you call it game, because of you, young men and women, our children and our grandchildren. This country has been good to us, but we don't believe that this country is being good to the current generation, to the youth, to the women of the future of this country. That is why we are today in ADC, to bring about sincere change. Believe me, you cannot get away with corruption in the government of ADC. You cannot. You cannot get away compromising with criminals and terrorists to make life impossible in this country. No, that is not what we intend to do. Absolutely not. Therefore, it is a struggle for all Nigerians. But I will not end these remarks without indicting the chairman of INEC and INEC itself. Because it is clear, it is obvious, the evidence is there, INEC is being used to scuttle democracy in this country. Now, let the federal government know that we fought the military to bring democracy in this country, and we are going to fight them to bring democracy in this country. Let the chairman know we are not going to let him get away with his illegalities. We will not. And I hope we will have your support and cooperation to make sure we return to true democracy, to true development in all aspects of human endeavor. I want to thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to address you today, and of course, to congratulate the ADC for organizing this convention for the purposes of the constitutional provisions of the party. I wish you every success. Good evening. Thank you very much.